Welcome to Insider's Inside podcast, where we dissect everything social media. I'm Teodora Loizanzas, marketer at Socialinsider, and your host for this show, excited to get into the nitty-gritty of everything social media. I'll talk to social media professionals that work in freelance, in-house for a company, and in an agency environment to get the best of all worlds. Which is a nicer way of saying we'll snoop around and see how others do it. Let's jump in. And what better way to kick off the podcast than with our very own lovely marketing coordinator, Maria Ganta. Maria describes herself as an optimist, a social media addict, and a storyteller with a lot of imagination. From her passion, love, and curiosity for content marketing and social media came a book, Life of a Social Media Manager. Today's episode is just about that. The life of a social media manager and everything it means. Maria is here to share her addiction with the rest of us and talk about what it actually means to live the life of a social media manager, her process in writing the book, and the lessons learned along the way. So how are you, Maria?
Hi, Theo. Thank you for having me. I'm very good.
Happy to hear it. So let's tell people a little bit about yourself. When did you first get into social media?
Well, I've been using social media since I was a teenager, like everyone else, I guess. But I realized I could do more with that, more than just posting pictures of myself 2 years ago when I started working here at Socialinsider. That was the moment when I realized you can do more with social media.
So that was the opening moment. That was the moment when you realized that this is the thing that you want to do.
Yes. And since then, every day I learn something new about social media.
And how do you get your drive? What's the one thing that motivates you, even when things are not going according to plan, so to speak, because we are working in marketing and most of the times things aren't going according to plan?
Yeah, well, I think people's reaction to what I do on social media when I get messages that, well, your post inspired me, or, well, I read your articles and they help me with my strategy. I think that one thing that motivates me.
How would you describe the life of a social media manager, or what do you think it was before you started writing the book?
Well, this is a really good question. Before starting writing the book, I didn't know much about this. A lot of people think the life of a social media manager is very easy. You just post on social media and that's it. Well, that's not. This role involves a lot more than just managing social media channels on a day-to-day basis. First, you have to write content that's relevant and generates engagement and results for your brand. You have to create strategies that will meet your consumers' goals. And also you will have to analyze those strategies to see if what you're doing is good or if you have to change something. If I have to sum up and say what a social media manager is, I can say that he's the face and the voice of a brand. So I think it's a really important job.
Yes, because a lot of people don't realize that being a social media professional means strategies, it means creating great brand imagery, it means setting up guidelines, it means preparing for the unexpected, it means being able to adjust on the spot. So there are a lot of things that actually go into being a social media professional.
Yeah, exactly.
Who do you look up to in this regard? From this wide spectrum of social media professionals that you've already talked to?
Here it depends. Well, if I want to learn something about Instagram, well, then I'll go to Subi Zimmerman. If I want to learn something about LinkedIn, here Dr. Natalia is very good and she's an excellent expert. If I want to learn about Twitter, here I think everyone knows is Matt Navarra. And if I want to learn about Facebook, Mary Smith is my friend here.
I see. So there isn't one person that you think that does everything right. There isn't the notion of the perfect social media manager. Everybody has their own strengths on specific platforms.
Yes, exactly. I don't think there's one person that does everything.
Okay, so how do you think about looking into what the life of a social media manager is? What was the idea for the book?
Well, the idea came almost a year ago. Back then, I was doing monthly interviews for Social Insider's blog, and one of my interviews was Andy Crestodina from Orbit Media Studio. I knew he wrote a book, Content Chemistry, the Illustrated Handbook for Content Marketing, and I asked him to tell me more about the process. And he told me that it began as an experiment that you can blog into a book. And I found that phrase really interesting. And I remember talking to Adina. She's one of the co-founders here at Social Insider, and telling her about the interview. And she told me, well, let's write a book. Social Insider's first book for social media managers. And we can use the interviews as a starting point.
So by that time, you already had a series of interviews.
Yes, I already had a series. And this was in November 2019. And in April 2020 came Life of a Social Media Manager, Social Insider's first book.
So in November, the idea came up, and in April, everything was done and launched.
Yes, yes.
But how long have you been conducting these interviews and doing research for what turned out to be a book?
Well, a year, a year and a half.
Do you think that just conducting interviews would limit the information and the message you wanted to put out there? Did you think that you needed a bigger platform, such as a book? Or are the interviews a separate topic from the book?
The interviews were a separate topic. In the interviews, I asked people to tell more about their lives, not that much about their careers. So in an interview, there were only 10 questions. And I wanted a place where I could be more creative and bring more value to the social media world. And I think the book was the perfect place to do that.
What does it bring to the table as opposed to the interviews? What type of information does it add?
More value for social media managers. The book, at the beginning, there were 3 chapters. How to become the best social media manager, how to get better at social media content, and how to integrate social media into your daily marketing strategy. But due to the situation and to the crisis, I had to add a new chapter, Life of a Social Media Manager in Times of Crisis. And I think the book gives more value to the social media world.
Okay. Yes, well, all marketers talk about putting out content with added value. If you had to choose just one thing, what would be the book's main strong point?
I think the experts featured in the book, there were 25 experts. I talked to 25 experts about everything a social media person should know. And I think this is the book's main strong point. There were experts sharing their knowledge and their experiences.
Yes, and from what I've seen, there are experts that work in all sorts of mediums. There are freelancers, there are agency experts, and there are in-house social media professionals.
Yeah,
So I
indeed.
guess this is an added value. It brings a well-rounded picture of everything. So how do you go about finding 25 people that are willing to work generously, give out information, give out value for free, for a free ebook?
I knew some of them from the interviews I was already doing. Some were recommended to me. And I made some posts on LinkedIn in which I told people I'm going to write a book, a free book for social media managers. And whoever wants to participate can leave me a message. And I was surprised. A lot of people answered to that post. And some of them were actually featured in the book.
That's really interesting. So pretty much all it takes is asking.
Yeah, asking and giving people something. I think it was a win-win situation. They helped me writing the book. I helped them with the promotion, and it
Exposure for
was
exposure, so to speak.
exactly, yeah.
I think this, personally, I think this also speaks for the field itself, because it's based on helping each other and collaboration to bring some really good content marketing and social media marketing.
Yes, indeed.
Do you think that these are long-standing professional relationships?
Absolutely. I know that in the future, if I need some advice related to social media, or if I want to write another book, those experts will be there and would help me.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice from this experience for somebody who's thinking about it, who's thinking about launching an ebook, or if it would be worth it to create an ebook?
Definitely. I recommend writing an ebook. Well, you first need to have a goal. I knew for the beginning that my goal was to help social media managers to better understand this career path. And I started spending more time on social media groups, reading people's problems related to social media, and that helped me structure the book and prepare the questions for the experts. So I think the first step is you need a goal, and then a plan to create, and everything will come together in time.
Okay, talk to me a little bit more about this plan. Walk me through your process from this point where your idea of writing a social media ebook came to be, and from the point you realized that it's not that impossible to do it until the time you actually launched it. You talked a little bit about the goals, so it all started with the goals. What's next?
Yes. Well, as I was telling you before, I started this in November 2019, and it took me almost 2 months to gather all the information. I read a lot of articles. I listened to podcasts about social media and what are people's struggles with in this field, and then I started making a plan. And finding the experts. I think this was the most important part.
Okay, so the plan was based on the launching date, or what exactly do you refer to when you say created the plan?
Well, the plan was based on the questions. First, I had all the questions, and then I created the chapters. And for each chapter, I needed some experts. So this was a starting point. For each chapter, the experts. Then I contacted them via email or via LinkedIn. I sent them the questions, and it took me almost 6 months to gather all the questions, because some people told me at the beginning they want to be part of the ebook, then they forgot to send me the questions, or they changed their mind, and this was not very easy.
So were there any hit and miss situations, something that you really wanted to have in this book and didn't get to make it come true, so to speak?
Well, yeah, I think this part, there were some experts that I was really hoping to be part of the ebook, and they didn't have time or didn't find it very, I don't know if interesting, but
challenging.
Exactly, challenging for them.
Was there any method to selecting the people that you interviewed?
Well, they should be social media managers and experts. And I looked them.
You looked them up?
Yeah, to see where they are working, or if they have any articles related to social media.
So it was pretty much based on professional qualifications?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Were there specific things like a campaign that you saw from them that you liked and you thought, this person has a great mind, I might get some very useful information?
I knew a lot of experts from this area, from social media, and I didn't need it much to select them.
Oh, so you already knew them. You already knew what they were about, how they were thinking.
Yeah, this process was not so hard. I mean, the hardest part was to gather the answers.
I see, I see. So, because we talk so much about collaborating and exchanging ideas between professionals, do you believe in this pay it forward approach to marketing?
Yes, absolutely. I think it's a really good thing. People should do it. And I experienced this with the book.
Okay. So, how do you think it applies to social media? How do you pay it forward?
Well, in my case, the book was really good for promoting the brand's message. And people wanted to be part of it because they knew the message would reach a lot of people and the audience was big. So I think they helped me because they knew this was good for them too.
Mm-hmm. And for a lot of people, because in the end, the more we talk about things, the more we understand them, and the more we exchange ideas and experiences, the more everybody can learn from it.
Yes, sure.
Going back a little bit to the ideas in the book, if there were one thing that people should take away from the entire message, what would that be? What do you think is most important?
First, I think people should understand that as a social media manager, you must be authentic. If what your brand presents on social media does not match the reality, you will lose the credibility and people will not follow you. So, authenticity, I think, is the main thing a social media manager should have.
So authenticity.
Exactly. I think having the option to express yourself is really important. And being a social media manager, you can do that for your brand. So I think it is really important. Yes, there are unexpected situations and hard times, but in my opinion, I think this is a great role.
So pretty much go with your gut and be yourself.
Exactly.
That's actually very interesting because it definitely debunks the idea that anybody can do social media and whoever works behind the keyboard in writing those messages doesn't really matter, because when you add authenticity and personality to it, it completely changes the way you view this particular job. So it gives it a unique flavor. It gives it some personality that some of the brands really lack these days, which is pretty cool.
Exactly.
Do you have a quote that you can give me? Something that you liked from it?
Well, there were 25 experts, so I don't have a favorite quote, but if I have to pick one, I'll come back to Ani Crestodina from Orbit Media. He told me that the headlines and the visuals will make or break any campaign or any post. And this phrase stuck into my mind. I think it's really true.
The headlines and the video and the visuals.
And the visuals, yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so are there ideas that everybody agrees on or ideas on which everybody disagrees? Do you think typically most professionals agree on a certain subject or disagree because everybody brings in their own experience, they see things from a specific angle, and I'm very curious if there's a consensus.
Well, I talked to people in the same area. They were all social media experts, social media managers, content creators, and they agreed on the subject. Even I was surprised because as I was receiving their answers, some of them were almost the same. So talking about social media managers, they have the same opinions.
Give me a few examples of this.
About the skills a social media manager should have, or how the life of a social media manager looks like, or what the social media manager should do in a times of crisis. They had the same opinions, the same ideas.
Okay, so what are the skills? Very, very quickly. Like 3 things all social media professionals need.
Well, writing skills,
Okay.
design skills, and you should be okay on camera because these times everyone is talking about video, and I think a social media manager should be able to record videos.
Okay. What about in times of crisis? How do people see the current situation?
Well, at the beginning, people didn't know very well what to do. And the experts were telling me that you have to forget about anything you planned and be there for your clients. I mean, you should be there for your clients and let them know you can help them. If they have questions or if they have concerns, they can come to you and ask, and you'll be there for them.
And find a solution, I suppose, find a way to help them, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. Together, you'll find a solution, and they shouldn't be afraid to ask.
So it's about working together. It's about having a clear communication between client and social media professional, discussing the issue, and then finding solutions to how to integrate the brand and how to keep the business going.
Yeah, exactly. Together, you'll find a solution, and people need to know this.
Okay. Do you think external marketing materials have a place in social media? For example, this ebook. This is a separate marketing material. How does an ebook help with your particular social media? How do you integrate it?
Well, this ebook definitely boosts social media engagement and exposure of Socialinsider. I planned the launch a month before, and I've made videos to promote the book. I had an infographic and different messages. I mean, I knew that for Instagram, the visuals were very good. So that's why I had an infographic. For Facebook and LinkedIn, there were the videos. So I've made videos in which I promoted the book, in which I promoted the experts. And I think the strategy and planning all the promotion is very important. And it will boost social media engagement, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so as external materials, you would use infographics, videos, ebooks.
Videos, quotes, ebooks.
Pretty much anything can be integrated into a social media strategy and use it to both promote that asset as well as boost engagement and performance.
Exactly. And you also need to know a little bit from each platform. I think people are different, and the audience on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter is not the same.
Okay. Do you have anything in mind?
Well, as I was saying, on Instagram, people are more willing to view, I don't know, infographics or images. On LinkedIn, people will be more likely to see posts, simple posts, or articles, or
more professional videos.
More professional videos, exactly. So you have to play with those elements, and everything will be according to the plan.
Okay, so here comes a fun segment, so to speak. I prepared a fire round in which I'll be laying out a series of social media terms or scenarios. And what I want from you is to choose the answer that you believe in the most, but give your answer as fast as possible.
Okay, let's see.
You okay with this?
Yes.
As far as platforms go, Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn?
Instagram.
Engagement or impressions?
Both.
Photos or videos?
Videos.
Short or long captions?
Long captions.
Posting too often or barely posting?
Too often.
Paid or organic?
Organic.
Sacred content calendar or adjusting to current events?
Adjusting to current events.
Risky content or safe methods?
Risky content.
TikTok, yay or nay?
Yay.
Okay, that makes it pretty clear where you stand. So speaking of TikTok, maybe you can tell everybody a little bit more about your plans, because from what I know, you have something, a little bit of a surprise coming up.
Yes, well, I published a new book, a new free book, TikTok Marketing for Brands. It's going to be a complete guide that will help social media managers, and not only to better understand this fastest growing platform. And I can't wait to share it. I enjoyed so much writing this book, and I'm really excited.
Can you give us a little bit of a teaser from it?
Well, there will be 5 chapters. Everything you should know about TikTok, the most common questions and answers. How can brands unlock the power of TikTok? And how to create ads that really convert. These are the main chapters. And you'll have to read the book to discover more.
Okay, so if I were to consider going into TikTok the way most brands are doing right now, because there aren't that many brands using TikTok.
Yeah, indeed.
Is this book something that would help me launch it or get an idea or create a strategy?
Yes, you'll learn how to create ads, everything you should know about this. You'll learn how to create short videos with a catch. And I think you'll learn how to have 60 seconds of TikTok fame.
Okay. Can't wait to see that and see how many brands actually learn to have those 60 seconds. Thank you, Maria, for joining us. It's been amazing, and thank you for a lot of information that you shared with us. I really hope this is helpful for anybody that is trying to get into social media or is just starting out in social media and wants to increase their strategy, wants to learn more about how to use different assets to promote it, learns how to make their page stand out, and pretty much give people the confidence to just ask. And if you don't understand something or don't know something, you have social media to ask. So this is it for today's episode. Hope you enjoyed it and learned something about social media. You can find Maria and the Social Insider team on social media, of course, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn with the links below, and get the Life of a Social Media Manager free ebook at socialinsider.io/Life of a Social Media Manager. Also, don't forget to check out our blog for more social media information and data-based findings. Until next time, keep an eye on those insights.